Isabella of France, the queen who overthrew a king, the wife who returned to England as a conqueror. The king believes he is untouchable. After all, he wears the crown of England. His word is law. His nobles obey. His enemies disappear. And his queen? Surely she will remain loyal. History has a cruel sense of humor, because the greatest threat to King Edward II of England is not a rival king, not a foreign army, not even his rebellious nobles. It is the woman sitting beside him. Her name is Isabella of France. The English people will one day call her the she-wolf of France, a nickname filled with admiration and fear. Before her story ends, she will invade England, overthrow her own husband, place her son upon the throne, and forever change English history. You can almost hear the bells of Paris ringing across the morning air. Markets overflow with silk, cathedrals climb toward the heavens, the royal palace hums with diplomats, knights, and servants. This is one of Europe's most powerful kingdoms, and in 1295, Isabella is born into its heart. She is the daughter of Philip IV of France. Europe knows him as Philip the Fair, cold, brilliant, relentless. From him, Isabella learns something few princesses ever do. Royal blood is valuable, but power belongs to those who know how to use it. She receives an exceptional education, languages, religion, diplomacy, court etiquette, the delicate art of reading people before they speak. She quickly develops a sharp mind. Beautiful? Everyone notices. Intelligent? Far fewer understand just how dangerous that combination can become. When Isabella is only 12 years old, another political marriage is arranged. She will marry King Edward II of England. The wedding is magnificent. Golden banners, thousands of guests, music echoing through the cathedral. Two powerful kingdoms united by one royal couple. At least, that is the dream. Reality arrives almost immediately. Edward is unlike the kings Isabella expected. He is charming, generous, but deeply devoted to his favorites, especially one man, Piers Gaveston. Edward showers Gaveston with titles, land, jewels, attention. Many nobles resent it. Isabella notices something else. Her husband often seems more interested in Gaveston than in his own queen. Court whispers begin, embarrassing whispers, painful whispers. Isabella remains composed. She smiles. She fulfills every duty expected of a queen. But quietly, she watches, she learns. Because survival inside a medieval royal court requires patience. Soon, the English nobles revolt against Gaveston's growing influence. Conflict spreads through the kingdom. Gaveston is captured, executed. Surely, everyone believes, the crisis is finally over. Instead, it grows worse. Edward finds new favorites. Most powerful among them, the ambitious Hugh Despenser the Younger. If Gaveston divided the kingdom, Despenser nearly tears it apart. His greed becomes legendary. His enemies multiply. Even Isabella begins losing lands and influence to the king's favorite. The Queen of England, humiliated inside her own court, ignored, pushed aside. Many women would have accepted their fate. Isabella does something far more dangerous. She begins waiting, watching, preparing. Because every kingdom eventually reaches a breaking point. And when England finally does, the quiet queen everyone underestimated will become the most dangerous woman in Europe. Just before Isabella makes the decision that will shock Christendom. Because next, the Queen of England will find an unexpected ally, raise an army, and return across the Channel, not as a wife, but as a conqueror. The Queen waits. That is what everyone sees. A beautiful wife, a disappointed woman, a political decoration in a court ruled by favorites. But waiting is not weakness, not when the woman waiting is Isabella of France, because Isabella has learned the rhythm of power, when to speak, when to smile, when to disappear into the background, and when to strike. By now, England feels poisoned. King Edward II still wears the crown, but Hugh Despenser the Younger holds the king's ear like a man gripping a dagger. Land disappears into dispenser hands, nobles lose influence, enemies are punished, and Isabella herself begins to feel the blade. Her estates are seized, her authority shrinks, her dignity is insulted in public and private ways. That is dangerous, because humiliating a queen is never just cruelty, it is strategy. Dispenser wants Isabella powerless, invisible, contained. Tiny mistake. Because Isabella is not contained, she is being sharpened. Then comes the opportunity, a mission to France. Officially, Isabella travels to negotiate between England and her brother, the French king. Unofficially, she is leaving a burning house with the matches still in her pocket. The moment she reaches France, everything changes. She is no longer trapped inside Edward's court, no longer surrounded by Dispenser's spies, no longer forced to pretend obedience beneath English eyes. For the first time in years, she breathes. And then she does the one thing Edward never expects. She refuses to come home. The scandal explodes across Europe. A queen abandoning her husband, a queen openly defying a king, a queen saying, in effect, "I will not return while that man controls my life." Oh, the medieval gossip must have been delicious. But Isabella is not merely creating scandal, she is building a rebellion. And then, she meets the man who will help her carry it out. Roger Mortimer, a marcher lord, a rebel, a fugitive, a man with every reason to hate Edward and Dispenser. Together, they become dangerous. Not because the relationship is simple, it isn't. It is political, personal, explosive. The Queen and the rebel lord. England's nightmare with better cheekbones and sharper knives. Across the Channel, Isabella gathers support. Nobles tired of Edward, enemies of Dispenser. Men who once feared speaking now see a banner to gather beneath. But Isabella's strongest weapon is not Mortimer, not even the army. It is her son, Prince Edward, the heir to England. Because Isabella is not simply invading as a wronged wife, she is returning as a mother protecting the future king. That changes everything. It gives rebellion a crown-shaped excuse, and medieval politics loves a crown-shaped excuse. In 1326, Isabella sails for England, not with the largest army, not with overwhelming force, but with timing, confidence, and a cause people can rally behind. The landing is electric, support spreads fast, nobles join her, towns open their gates. Edward's authority begins collapsing almost embarrassingly quickly, because a king can command loyalty only so long as people believe he deserves it. And by now, many do not. Edward runs, Dispenser runs, but the kingdom has already turned. The queen they underestimated has returned, not crying, not begging, commanding. And soon, Hugh Dispenser is captured. The favourite who helped humiliate Isabella now faces the kind of public punishment medieval England reserved for enemies of the realm. Brutal, theatrical, unforgettable. Isabella does not need to swing the blade herself. She has already won. Then Edward II is captured, the king, her husband, the man who ignored her, the man who let others diminish her, and now he is powerless. That is the reversal at the heart of Isabella's legend. The wife becomes the judge, the queen becomes the conqueror, the king becomes the prisoner. England has seen rebellion before, but this is different. A queen has overthrown her own husband, and the world will never forget it. England holds its breath. Never before has a reigning English king fallen so completely. Not to a foreign army, not to an invading prince, but to his own queen. The kingdom now faces an impossible question. What do you do with a king who has lost everything? Edward II of England remains alive, but he no longer rules. His supporters have vanished, his favourites are dead, his authority has evaporated, and the nobles know one uncomfortable truth. As long as Edward lives, Someone can always rally behind him. Someone can always start another civil war. So Parliament gathers. The hall buzzes with nervous conversation. No one has ever attempted something like this before. Can a king be removed? Can the crown itself decide its wearer? The answer will change English history forever. One by one, the accusations are read aloud. Poor leadership, military failures, favoritism, allowing the kingdom to fall into disorder. The list seems endless. Finally, Edward is forced to abdicate. His son becomes king. Only 14 years old, he is crowned Edward III of England. The ceremony is magnificent. Golden crowns, ancient prayers, trumpets echo through London. The people cheer for a new beginning. But everyone understands the truth. The boy wears the crown. His mother holds the power. For the next several years, England is ruled by Queen Isabella and Roger Mortimer. Some celebrate them. Others whisper. Those whispers grow louder. Has Isabella rescued England, or merely replaced one favourite with another? Mortimer receives lands, titles, influence. His enemies begin sounding remarkably similar to Edward's old enemies. Power has a strange habit. It often changes people who believe they are different. Meanwhile, another mystery unfolds. Edward II disappears into captivity. Months later, news spreads across England. The former king is dead. Officially, he dies while imprisoned at Berkeley Castle. How? No one knows for certain. Rumours begin almost immediately. Some claim illness, others claim murder. Others insist Edward escaped entirely. The most famous story, the one involving a red-hot poker, appears in later accounts and is not supported by contemporary evidence. Yet, it becomes one of medieval history's darkest legends. Whatever truly happened, Edward II never returns. And Isabella's reputation changes forever. To some, she is England's saviour, the queen who removed a disastrous king. To others, she is the woman who destroyed her own husband. The nickname spreads, the she-wolf of France. It is meant as an insult. Instead, history almost turns it into a title. For 3 years, Isabella and Mortimer govern England. Then something remarkable happens. Young Edward III grows up, very quickly. He watches, he listens, much like his mother once did. He notices who truly controls the kingdom, and he decides he has waited long enough. In October 1330, the 18-year-old king acts. Under cover of darkness, loyal knights enter Nottingham Castle through a secret passage. The corridors are silent. Torches flicker against stone walls. Mortimer has no idea they are coming. The king's men burst into his chambers. Mortimer is seized. Some accounts say Isabella desperately cries out, "Fair son, have pity on the gentle Mortimer." Whether those were her exact words or not, they capture the heartbreak of the moment. This time, it is Isabella pleading. This time, no one listens. Mortimer is tried for treason, found guilty, executed. The queen who once overthrew a king loses the man who helped her do it. Edward III does not imprison his mother. He does something far more unexpected. He allows Isabella to retire comfortably. She spends the rest of her life surrounded by wealth, servants, books, and family. No longer the most powerful woman in England, but never forgotten. She dies in 1358. Her story refuses to fit neatly into history. Was she a devoted mother? A ruthless politician? A betrayed wife? A usurper? Perhaps she was all of them, because Isabella understood something few medieval rulers ever dared to test. A crown may rest upon a king's head, but real power belongs to the person who can convince a kingdom to follow. So we leave Isabella here, standing beneath the banners of England and France. A queen, a rebel, a mother, the woman who dared to overthrow a king, and proved that sometimes the most dangerous person in the palace is not the one wearing the crown, but the one standing beside it. If this story stayed with you, if you were captivated by the intrigue, betrayal, and ambition that reshaped a kingdom, don't stop here. There are more women like Isabella, women who refused to accept the role history assigned them, women who challenged kings, altered dynasties, and left marks on history that could never be erased. Stay dangerous, stay loud, and never let them hold the pen.